日本時間6月24日、米メディア、MLB Now は、ドジャースの GM、ブランドン・ゴームス氏をゲストに招き、これからの大谷翔平選手の二刀流について言及しました。中継ぎとして登板しつつ、野手をやるという可能性は全く考えていないんでしょうかと聞かれたブランドン・ゴームス氏は、いえ、その話は全くしていません。分かっているのは、翔平はリーグ屈指の先発投手であり、同時に最高の打者でもあるということ。だから、その二軸でやっていくつもりです。と、大谷投手の今後の起用方法などについて言及しました。ここからは、そのインタビューを見ていきます。
Run it by you, Dan, first, because again, you have been saying this on this show for a good 8 years. Hey, why don't you use him out of the bullpen? What do you think of opening?
I love it. I really do. I think your comment in there is the ability to sustain his dominance playing every single day is the most important thing you said. He's just an elite player. Like, he's one of the greatest players that we'll ever see the field. The greatest predictor of future injuries or past injuries. He's already been hurt twice. Unless there's something drastically done differently in his skill set to pitch, more than likely at some point in time he will break again. And so I like it from a strategy standpoint. He's a right-hand hitter. You load your lineup up with left-handed hitting guys. You flip with a left-hander coming in after them. It creates a competitive advantage, and it allows the Dodgers to kind of lengthen their pitching staff a little bit because he can do both.
Right. And it gives them, right, a routine where he knows he's starting.
Yeah, the bullpen thing I get right. Your point.
I've always liked the bullpen thing, but again, when you get in the real world, when are you warming up? When is he getting ready? That's a little more difficult. I think this solves it. What do you think, Joel?
I liked in that essay you said this is the biggest question, one of the biggest questions right now. I feel like specifically us three have been answering this question for 10 years. Like it's not going away. And I actually, you know how it pains me to say it? I think it's a great idea. I really.
There we go.
I really do, because you are even missing one key element of this. Because he is a two-way player, they could carry 14 pitchers.
Yeah, exactly right.
So they could have extra guys to piggyback behind him because they have the extra pitcher because of the Ohtani rule,
good point. Yeah.
Which is valuable. We already know they were comfortable playing tournament baseball last year in the postseason. They used an opener 4 times on the way to a World Series.
Right.
None of them looked like Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
So we know they could do that. And they're going to have some issues just pitching-wise getting through. Like, Glasnow's out on a rehab. What does he look like when he comes back? Snell is right behind him. They're not sure about Sasaki and Gonsolin. They're, again, going to have a lot of interesting arms. And I'm not sure they're going to have 4 starters. Like, they have, 8 starters they'd love to use.
Yeah.
Are they going to have 4 standing at that time to be able to do this?
And it's one of the biggest questions in baseball right now, what to do with the, once again, two-way sensation, Shohei Ohtani. And I think the Dodgers have stumbled upon the answer already. Let's do a little digging in. So we know Ohtani is a great hitter, right? Potentially a #1 starter. And that combo is a historic first in live ball baseball. I just want to acknowledge that at the top. But the question now is, coming back from a second elbow surgery, year 2 of a 10-year Dodger contract, what is the best way to utilize the player for the long haul? Allow me to introduce Exhibit A. The offensive progression of Shohei Ohtani. For his first 5 years of United States Major League Baseball, he's a good hitter, all right? 2018 to 2022, you see the batting average, it's okay. On base, good. Slugging, good. A 139 OPS plus 100 is league average. Over the last 3 years, including this year, this is a whole new ball game. He's hitting 300. On base, almost 400. Slugging, 644. The OPS plus 100 as league average is 185. That's a very different hitter. Not only that, last year, unencumbered by pitching duties, he started to steal bases more often. He stole 59, got caught stealing only 4 times. By the way, that's not some novelty. In his previous 6 seasons, Ohtani, a plus base runner, never topped 2.5 for base running runs. For that stat, it's a stat that measures your overall base running. Last year, he was #2 in baseball with a 9.7 in 1 year. 9.7. That's a big difference. I mean, he gains that when he's not pitching. So again, the priority here is protecting that high level of offensive production that I just showed you and the base running. As important as pitching is, Ohtani's everyday dominance contributes more to winning. And remember, Ohtani has already missed 3 seasons of pitching because of injury. 3 seasons of his 7. So he wants to pitch. But you need him every day. How do you do both? Well, they're doing it now, right now. The Dodgers have used Ohtani twice so far this year on the mound, having him throw what they call rehab starts. Each time he has started the game, he's pitched 1 inning and he's gotten out of there. Ohtani is an opener. The opener. We've talked on this show. Dan O'Dowd has been saying it on this show for years with us about using Ohtani as a weapon out of the bullpen. But this is somewhat difficult in the real world, right? As you'd have to figure when to use him, when to get him warmed up while taking his turn in the lineup. You can do it, but it's not easy. And you'd have to figure, as game as Ohtani is, the stress of maybe you're pitching, maybe you're not many days would be something that you'd want to avoid while he's taking his important at-bats throughout the game. Being an opener solves a lot of problems. Ohtani will know when he's starting. He can prepare all day long. Sleep, food, frame of mind, warming up. He knows he's pitching that day. And the difference is he just throws 1 inning. Okay, maybe inning and 2/3, maybe 2. You can be flexible. You can do whatever you want. But pretty quickly, he's out, and he can concentrate on his at-bats. Opening. He knows when he's starting, and you don't overtax him. And don't underestimate the importance of starting with a scoreless inning. This is not nothing. The first inning is still the highest scoring inning in Major League Baseball. Take a look. The opposition, remember, can stack their lineup. Most starters are getting ready for the long haul. These are the runs per inning over the last 50 years. The most runs come in the first inning by a significant margin. It's the most dangerous inning. Having Ohtani be the opener attacks that first inning. The highest run scoring inning gives the Dodgers a set schedule, puts less mental and physical stress on the Golden Goose. Listen, I know we all envision Ohtani having this MVP offensive season and throwing 180 or 200 innings. That is not happening. It didn't happen in his 20s. It's not happening now that he's in his 30s. His high water mark for innings, by the way, was 2022. He threw 166 innings. You know what, that year? He slugged .519. That's a nice year, but nothing near what he's done since. The next season, when he did pitch and hit at a high level, he blew out his elbow, hurt his oblique, missed all of September. He would have missed the playoffs had his club made the postseason. You want that? What the Dodgers are doing now is a tremendous plan to achieve their goals and keep him happy. We're going to run this by Brandon Gomes, GM of the Dodgers. I know he's looking for my advice. That's later on the show. But right now we're asking you, should Shohei Ohtani continue to open for the Dodgers? Let us know what you think. Dodgers Executive Vice President and General Manager Brandon Gomes. Brandon, it's Brian Kenny here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, BK.
So, Brandon, you have Shohei Ohtani pitching again. What is the overall pitching plan for him this year?
Yeah, the beauty of Shohei is obviously any inning we get is essentially a free inning since he doesn't count towards the pitcher's limit. So as he was going through his process, you know, the ramping up at 1 o'clock and then getting ready to hit come 7 o'clock was essentially like playing a doubleheader for him. So, you know, as we got closer to him getting stretched out through conversations like this is too taxing on his body, and we felt like going ahead and finishing his basically rehab progression while in the major leagues was the best combination for him and for us to get going. So yeah, he's gone out there a couple of times, been really impressive, and we'll keep going from there.
Now, see, I watched that, Brandon, and you know, I love the opener, the idea of using an opener. He's obviously a pricey opener, but you've kind of landed on, like, he gets you a scoreless inning. What about having him open, or then you have the flexibility to keep him going, but basically protecting the outlandish offense that he gives you? What's the thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, he very much is one of the best pitchers in the game as well. So we have to continue to build him up so that he will be taking down normal starts at some point, but being able to do that in a prudent fashion while also contributing to the major league team is the best of both worlds. Obviously, we saw him, you know, start the game on Sunday and then have a massive offensive performance. So he's done this so much. I think because he hasn't done it in a while, in 23, he was putting up essentially the same offensive numbers that he has the last 2 years while also being a Cy Young contender. So nobody knows how to do this better than he does, and making sure that, you know, we're not, you know, giving too much one way or the other, and making sure being able to strike the balance is really important. So that goes back to having conversations with him and, being in lockstep with how he's feeling.
So what are the conversations like with him? Because that year you mentioned, by the way, he didn't pitch in September, didn't play in September. He broke down hip, elbow, the whole thing. What are the conversations like? Does he want to be traditional starter the way he was doing it with the Angels?
Yeah, at some point, I think it's very much taking it how he feels coming out of every outing and seeing where he's at, taking a few days to assess, and then we can make our decision from that point. Like I said earlier, that's the beauty of having him on the rosters. It doesn't affect anybody else. We don't have to drop in, somebody because of it. Any inning that he can give us is only a positive. Especially if he's starting the game. Generally you want your best pitchers versus their best hitters, and that's a good matchup. So, like I said, we'll take it outing by outing and look to build him up along the way.
So not opening? I'm a little disappointed. He's not going to be your opener?
For all year?
Yeah. And the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll be a starting pitcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want at that point, but you
Right.
want a few more innings out of him. Fair enough. Is relieving off the table? Is any chance of that? Any thought of that being a relief pitcher and a position player?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that at all. I just know that Shohei is one of the best starters in the game, as well as one of the best hitters. So we'll keep going on that front.
Okay. Last year, Mookie Betts was moved back to right field after being a shortstop. Is that on the table, or is Mookie Betts your playoff shortstop, if you're making the playoffs and we think you're making the playoffs?
Yeah, Mookie's been amazing at shortstop. I think, it speaks to as soon as he puts his mind to something, and he told us, right from the get-go this offseason that he's going to go out and tackle it, and he's like, I can do this. I know I can. And he's been outstanding there. So, yeah, right now he's been great, and that's our plan.
His defensive metrics are better. In the publicly held defensive metrics, much, much better. I think he's +8 DRS, defensive runs saved. You can see it right there. OAA, outs above average, that's range. What about your defensive metrics or your proprietary metrics or your scouts? What are they saying about him at shortstop?
Yeah, all of it's lining up. I mean, I think the eye test, the defensive metrics, our internal stuff, it all says that Mook has been outstanding at shortstop. And what's amazing is I don't even think he's gotten to as good as he can be. He's taken so few reps compared to most guys who are already this good. So I think from a defensive standpoint, we're going to see it get even better.
Brandon, beginning of the year, there was thought like, wow, is Max Muncy going to be able to, be in the majors, be on your club? Since he got glasses, he's slugging 570, and right, his on base is 418. So, how do you go after that? Like where he has an astigmatism in his right eye? How did you find out about that? How do you test for that? How did you figure it all out?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was driven by Max and him saying, I feel like there's something a little bit off. I've kind of always had this, and it's gotten a tick worse. So he went and explored it, obviously through the the help of our group, but that was driven by Max. And he took a few, I think it was probably like 5 to 7 days to kind of test it out in the cage. And then pregame, I know we had conversations, he's like, it just feels a lot clearer. So as he obviously that line of delineation has been pretty impressive. And I think, we've talked about it a lot with Doc in our group. When you see Max go backside line drive, backside home run, especially on heaters, top of the zone, you're like, that's when he's really dialed. And we hadn't seen that for a while. And it's, becoming a much more common occurrence right now. He's been carrying us offensively, really. Yeah, no, it is back to his former glory, and he was a tremendous all-around player. An even more serious eye injury, the guy you have starting for you today in your AA team, we're going to see that right here on MLB Network. Patrick Copen took a line drive to his eye last year, lost vision in that eye. He's out there now with a sub-3 ERA. He's got 97 strikeouts in 63 innings. Tell me about this kid and your thoughts for his future. Yeah, just an amazing story of resilience and, an incredible support system from his mom and dad and his girlfriend, Macy, and then our player development group. Cope has always been somebody our scouts loved early on. Big body, thought that there was a lot of ingredients there to be great. And he, working with our pitching group, has just completely dove in and tackled everything we've asked him to do. So you've seen his velocity go up, his command get better. adding real weapons. He's got 3 fastballs and then, an incredible curveball and sweeper that he mixes effectively. So I think this guy has all the ingredients, obviously overcoming something like he did last year to go out and keep working. I mean, he was basically to the point of he couldn't wait to get back to watch game film right after, he got hit last year. So there's a thirst and a hunger to be great there. And, nothing's going to stand in his way.
Wow, that's inspirational. Again, Patrick Copen, people can watch him as soon as we're done. Again, lost vision in his eye, taking a line drive. He's out there showing a lot of fortitude. He's to be commended. One last thing on your farm system. Again, the Dodgers are known for their tremendous farm system. I mean, historically, going back decades, you're still in the top 5 there. And Brendan, I'm wondering, how hard is that to maintain, given that the competitive balance tax dings you quite a bit? You don't draft until 40th this year, so there are penalties for your high payroll, your number 1 payroll. What about that, being dropped from, even if you're 30 or you're 27, down to 40th? How much does that change what you can bring back in?
Yeah, it's become something that we're just used to dealing with, and our goal is to always pick last, which means we win the World Series. So it speaks volumes of our scouting group, our player development group, how tightly knit they are, and finding these guys that we feel like will be good fits for our system to come in and have great work ethic and make up like Copen does, and come in and maybe they're not a first rounder, but they work their tails off and really elevate themselves within our system. So I think it's a combination, and making sure everybody's all working closely together to target players that will fit well in our system and really develop, even though we're not picking near the top of the draft.
How different is that as far as percentage of guys in the majors first round, percentage of guys in the majors second round? How drastic is that?
It's a good question. I wouldn't have that off the top of my head. I think a lot of it is those top 10 picks or so are generally the guys that come in and have massive impact. But you see guys all over the place. We had, Kevin Kiermaier on our team last year, who was, I think, 33rd round. So it's the beauty of the game and the beauty of the system is that as long as you have an opportunity, you can go out and prove yourself, and anything can happen.
All right, Brandon, always great having you on the show. Just keep an open mind. The opener, Shohei Ohtani. Just keep him on. Just try to help out. Dan O'Dowd is over there. Just try to help out a little bit. Brandon, thank you so much. Great talking to you again. Thank you.
Thanks, BK. Appreciate you.
All right.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。